Good evening, podium chasers. I hope you're all well. Yeah, here I am. I bet you all thought I wasn't turning up tonight. Yes, I know I'm 2 minutes late, but I'm actually not. So I normally come on with 15 minutes left of free practice, and we're into that minute at the moment. So there you go. Evening, everybody. Welcome. Comms by COMMS, as always, especially on a Tuesday. Taco Tuesdays got to be the most popular series within FRL without a shadow of a doubt, and it is well deserved. So you can see we're currently sat in the beautiful Ferrari. We're going to see that loads tonight, not because it will be at the front of the field, but because it will be in the pit lane and everyone will do their pit stops. So yeah, need to get some advertising on that, really. So yeah, Comms by COMMS. It's Tuesday. This is round 2 of the Taco Tuesday Championship within Formula Racing League, Tier 1 on the PS5. We've got 18 in at the moment. I'm expecting 23. We do have 2 tiers, but obviously we've split that to give equal numbers across the tiers. So if you're wondering why there's only 23 when there could be 29, that would be the reason for it. So we are in free practice currently. We have a fast track, and as you can see, Michael Races is currently setting the pace with a 1:24.219. He hasn't been with us actually for a little while. I have been sat in this practice session since the beginning, trying to teach the guys some decent lines, but they weren't really listening. So Michael's no doubt doing his pre-race ritual. Jetpacker is probably got an engineer out to make sure his internet is working properly. And what I mean by that is go and have a look on my channel at the Mixed Monday race last night. Jetpacker's had so much bad luck recently. I mean, his pace is always really strong, as you can see there, 18 thousandths off Michael's time. And he disconnected, lagging all over the place. He's just so unlucky because his pace is like, he's a challenger. He really is a challenger. Although at the moment he's facing challenges. You can see there, cool 444 Racing, first race with us this evening. A good friend of Ben Milden's, I believe, from snooping around on their social medias. So welcome very much. Hope you have a good evening tonight. So he's standing in, mixing it straight away. That's very nice. So Ben is currently 4th. Crazy's is 5th. He's been out in his Beamer. Drifter, pony feeder, etc. So, race format for this evening, in case you aren't aware, we're in free practice at the moment. Once free practice is done, we will turn that up a little bit. We will then obviously move into our qualifying session, 15 minutes. Everyone gets to do what they need to, set the best lap possible without trying to kill themselves, and then we'll move into a 60-minute race. During that race, there will be one mandatory stop where they've got to take tyres. Fuel is optional. So whether they full fuel or they put in half or whatever their strategy is going to be, and that will be what happens this evening. Now I have checked, we are live, sound is good. No one wants to watch me tonight. I get it. Well, why would you? I mean, I sit here Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, try and race on a Thursday, want to do a podcast on a Wednesday. So yeah, I get it. I get you on board. I think it's because it's this t-shirt. I'm waiting for the upgrade. I'm waiting for version 2.0. Apparently it's in the post, so we'll see when that does not arrive. It's going to be quite a warm one on track. 23 ambient, 26 on track, pretty much the same as in my man cave at the moment, so it is pretty toasty in here. And with all these lights, like I'm on top of the pops, I'm probably going to mount before the end of the show. So if I start shrinking, that's why that is happening. Oh, I've got a visitor. Yes? Okay, no problem, Martin. It's alright. Yeah, Martin Brundle just asking if I wanted to do a bit of moonlighting on the F1 show. I don't think I'll bother, really. Too much controversy over there. Oh, Michael's back out. He must have done his ritual. I'm sure he'll tell me when that does happen. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, no, we are good. We are live. So let's run through the drivers. So last week was round 1. That was a brilliant race last week. I'm expecting this week, I mean, Brands is a really challenging track. We will get out there in qualifying and we'll do a full lap guide. We know it's a difficult track to master. You've got to be very brave at Brands, and yeah, you've got to kind of throw caution to the wind to a degree and just hope. Well, okay, it's not hope. these guys are skilled, so it's not close your eyes and pray. That would be more if I was driving, but you've got to be careful. So who's with us this evening? So guys that have checked in, so we've got Hutch, AMS, Drifter, Michael, Traction, Marty Road Racing, Kino, Pony Feeder, Ben Gallagher, Rd2, Dokuno, Jetpacker, Bruges, Crazies, Andy Cray, GT Jamie, Milden, Kagatacos. They're the guys that have confirmed they're going to race this evening. We've got 4 that can't, so Michelin can't race, Ash, Palermoj and Steph. So unfortunately those 4 can't be with us this evening, but we do have, as always, a queue around the block of people who want to jump in. So Shez should be joining us, Venom should be joining us, Shigs, Cooley's in, as you can see that, and Romario, who actually raced last night. I was very impressed with him last night, actually, in his first race with us, so I'm hoping that he can continue that form and make it a little bit interesting. So if we have a look at the driver standings, Drifter's leading at the moment with 41 points. He had a great race last week in the Jag. I mean, I'm not joking, he blitzed everybody last week. It was really impressive. AMS has continued his monstrous pace. He's second place in his Bentley on 38 points. Michael Race's current champion is currently third in the McLaren on 36 points. Not really a mid-season crisis just yet. We've had 1 race. We do have a 10-race season, remember. Milden is fourth on 34 points. He's back in his preferred Bentley, so I'm hoping for big things from him tonight. Marty Road Racing is also in a Bentley. He's on 32 points. And then we've got Ben Gallagher in the Audi. He is 6th on 30 points. Pony Feeder is 7th, 28 points. Guido is 8th on 26 points. Again, first race with us last week. Very, very impressed. Andy Cray is 9th on 24 points. I believe he's in a Lexus. He was at the GT4s last night, and they were racing at Bazzano. It was pitch black. Okay, GT3 cars, evidently, they can see. They got some decent lights. The GT4s was, I mean, nothing. You couldn't see a thing. I don't even know how they did it. Rd2 is 10th. He's on 22 points in his Beamer. Kagatacos in the Ferrari is 20th. He's got 20 points in 11th. Palermoj is 12th on 19 points. Ash is 13th in his Beamer on 18 points. Then we've got Steph 14th on 17. Traction is 15th on 16 points. No doubt he'll be looking for an improvement this evening in his McLaren. Hutch is 16th in his Jag on 14 points. I was actually going to come on a bit earlier and just give him the great news that Liverpool were losing. Not that I care, I'm a Coventry fan, so it makes no difference to me. And that they were going to throw away the title, but I did check before I came on air, and they are now drawing. So hopefully Hutch isn't swearing too much. Crazies, there you go, there's the big anomaly at the moment. After 1 race, Crazies is down in 17th place on 12 points in his Beamer. No doubt he's wanting to make amends for that. And then we've got Bruges in 18th place on 0, Jamie 0, Kino 0, Jetpacker is 0, and Michelin is also 0. So that gives you an idea in terms of Tier 1. McMilden Road Racing are leading in the team championship. Let's just run through that quickly and then we'll get out. Actually, while I'm doing that, no, because it'll be too loud, I'll finish it. McMilden is, those boys are top on 66 points. Full Throttle Racing and their Bentley are second on 64 points. Not Fast, Just Furious in the Jag. That team's on 55 points in third place. We're on YouTube, I'm pretty sure I am, are in fourth place on 52 points. That's obviously Michael and Traction. Flying Spuds, that's a good name in the Bentley, they're fifth on 36 points. Blue Street Racing in the Audi are on 30 points, and they're tied with STBK, they're on 30 points also. KG Racing are in 8th place at the moment on 28 points, and then we've got Fueled Up Motorsports 22 points, and bringing up the rear currently is Kagala Motorsport. Very nice, Kags. Always gives us a good name, that man. Right, so that brings us completely up to date on individual standings, team standings, and what happened in that first race. So what's going to happen this evening? I would push your eyes more towards the timing section at the moment. So remember, Cool, it's his first race with us. He's setting the benchmark at 24 flat, and then Michael says no, I don't think so, and Michael goes quickest with a 23.6. But anyway, let's take Michael out of the equation. So Cool, I mean, 24 flat, and then his best mate Ben is only a tenth and a bit behind him. Jetpacker's also a very small amount behind. Then you got Pony Feeder. Crazies and Rd2 have done exactly the same time so far. And speaking of which, if you haven't seen that, have a look please. Last night, GT4 qualifying, so the second 10 minutes, Michael Races and Crazies, there was 1 point between them in the championship at this stage. This is race 3 or 4, and they qualified. They both shared pole position. I've never seen that before. They shared exactly the same time for pole position, and obviously they're still moaning and, you know, oh, I want the pole point, and I want the pole, you know, I mean, whatever. But yeah, I mean, that was absolutely amazing last night, and they're now tied in that championship on equal points, so that's set up nicely for next week. My point is, Crazies and Rd2 have done the same time, so I did say last night, it is becoming a more regular occurrence because of the amount of information all of our drivers share, the training, the coaching, everything that goes on within the league. You can see that. You can physically see how it's helping people. JR is in, of course he is, always at the start. Hello JR, hope you're well mate. Let's go Marty and Ben. Yeah, let's see how they do. Mr. Gedman, hey you guys. Well, I've seen the pictures, Chris. I wouldn't say you're as handsome as Sloth, really. I think he's got a better jawline than you do. If Cool is the same guy, yeah, he is the same guy you're thinking of. He is JR, yes, and I know he's quick. I've come across this chap before in a racing context. Thank you very much. Before people start posting stuff. 6 at the moment. Good evening everybody. We're in through practice. I've just been running through all the teams, the individual stand-ins, and just talking about who we've got in with us tonight, reserves, full-time drivers, etc. So say hi in the chat, don't be shy, none of us bite, it's all good. So whilst we're having a look at that, let's get on board with, let's have a look at Jetpacker actually, in his Audi. Let's see if he's having any internet issues tonight. I really hope he doesn't have, because he's a great guy to have in the mix. He's always consistent and he's always fast. But not through the gravel, obviously. We don't want to be doing that too much. So predictions for tonight. Well, you've got to look at the top two, Michael and Crazies. These two, they're like arch enemies. I mean, they're not enemies, obviously. I mean, they pretend to like each other in the Discord, but on track, they don't stop. They're hammering tongs all the time. I fancy Cool's going to be involved. Ben's definitely going to be involved tonight. Jetpacker has the pace. Pony Feeder won last night in the GT3s. Kagatako's, well, he's 8th at the moment, but he's always hovering around that top 10. Rd2 is normally in the top 5. Drifter's normally in the top 3. Won last week, remember. Marty's normally in the top 5. Traction's normally in the top 5. Kino is normally in... That's what I'm saying. AMS is massively quick. Dokuno really surprised me last week, not because I thought he wasn't going to be quick. I'd never seen him before, but he put in such a good race last week. So he's going to be competitive. Bruges is always quick. GT Jamie is one of our coaches, so if he's not quick, he's in the wrong job. And then there's Hutch. I mean, and Hutch is always really quick as well in the special race. Shigs is no slouch. Andy's normally sort of top 10, and Shez is also he was top 5 last night until he got disconnected as Crazy decides he's going to throw it. Sorry, Jetpacker throws it off. Let's get on board with Crazy. So what I'm trying to say, guys, yes Ben, Cool is, I think he is. GT Jamie says going to be bringing up the rear, can't get this car dialed in. Well, you won't be. I'm sure you won't be. I know you've got it in you, Jamie. Of course you have. Don't disappoint the faithful. Yeah, JR is just double checking with Ben if Cool is the same guy. It is definitely the same guy, mate. 100%. So I know I get excited about tacos because it is good, and I know we always rave about the standard of driving within tacos, and I have, you know, been very fortunate recently to be jumping on the PC side and doing our commentary for the GT3 Fridays, which again is brilliant, and the standard of racing is extremely high. Can't deny that, but I would be very sure if you, I mean, I've just listed 12, 13 names there, and I think all of them would be competitive if they were in a PC environment. That is how good the racing is here. And then tier 2's not slow, tier 2's quick as well. So Ignore that, that was my phone. No, the contract offer. Right, 53 seconds left in free practice. Nothing's changed on track in terms of the temps. We still are a fast track at the moment. Sure, that will change as we get into qualifying. But yeah, I mean, this is looking pretty ominous. Normally I get excited when the gaps are really, really tight. And I think last week it was like the top 11 were separated by around a second. No, it wasn't. The top 11. On the PC, the top 17 were separated by less than a second in qualifying. But here at the moment, you've still got the top 13. Yeah, and we've got people who... I mean, Dokuno will go quicker, so will Bruges, so will Jamie, even though he's telling us he won't. But Jamie will go faster. Shigs, Andy, Shez and Romario, let's not forget, he was super quick last night. They haven't put any times in yet either, so I don't know, guys. I think this could be pretty special, to be honest. It could be the race of races. So, we're in the wait time. Everyone's just taking a little breather. No doubt we'll see a big jump in the people watching now, because they're all going to come on and go, hi. Well, let's hope they do anyway. Otherwise, why am I here? Yeah, question. So Michael came out and set that pretty quick lap, didn't he? I was watching earlier on. Obviously, I do like to hide in the shadows and watch during the practice sessions, not just directly before the race. I also do it throughout the day when I'm pretending to work in my office, and it's just interesting to see the different driving techniques that these guys have. I know that is led by the car as well, don't get me wrong, because each car is different. Again, if you're wondering what car you should be looking at, there's a brand new series on my channel called Coops Cars. Check it out. It's going through each individual car, working our way through GT3s at the moment. And on Thursday, the McLaren and the Mercedes ones will be coming out. So we've got an early bird out the pits there. So we've got 22 in. I believe we should have one more in, but... So, Dokuno is first out the traps in the 112 Ferrari. Let's have a watch then. Let's see. JR, if you're still in the chat, mate, how's PC life? How's it going over there, buddy? Obviously, I was keeping a very close eye on that when you first ported over, and then things are ridiculously busy. So, I'd be interested to know how that journey's going for you. So just getting those tyres warmed up. Again, we will do some lap guides shortly. So yeah, we're talking about the track. I mean, I've done quite a lot of commentary on brands, and I took my son there a couple of weeks ago. It's fantastic. He'd never been there before, and I absolutely love the track as a spectator's track as well as a driving. It's just fabulous. And I say you've really got to be on the edge. You can't be laboured around this track. You're busy all the time because everything's coming at you so quickly. There's a lot of off-camber corners. There's a lot of extremely quick corners as well. There's blind corners. Yeah, it's got everything. Anyway, so Dokuno comes across the line. Obviously, I'm in first place at the moment. As we come up to Paddock Hill Bend, that's the third gear through there. You want to clip that curb on the right. You have to pause a minute. Then you get on the power once the car's balanced. On the way down the hill, under the bridge, hard on the brakes. We're going to trail in. Probably should be first gear through there, so you can pick the throttle up early. Probably doesn't want to get too much wheel spin. I would have been in first. Graham Hill Bend on the right hand side, second gear, clip that curb, go wide on this one, not too wide to invalidate though, and then on to Cooper's Straight. We need to get, it's a difficult call in this one. It's second gear. You need to be on the brakes early enough because you want to be on the, you have to get on the throttle early because you've got this massive straight going down Pilgrim's Drop towards Hawthorns. But if you get that one wrong, because there's no actual planted brake marker there, you're kind of using the barriers on the side, and it can change as the track's evolving, as you're mid-race and you're battling. It's not as planted as other brake markers that you would have. Let's put it that way. We'll get back round to doing this lap guide when we come round there. Just waffling slightly there. We do now have an optimal track. Ambient is 24 and the track has gone up by 4 degrees, so nice and sticky for those tyres now. Right, as we come through Clark Curve onto the Brabham Straight, let's see what this lap time is going to do for Dokuno. He does a 25.5. pony feeder immediately blasts that one out the water by 8/10 and does a 24.7. So Michael's coming across the line now. Let's get it. I know he. Right, no, Michael up 23.7. Of course. Right, let's stay on board with Michael. Let's see what he's actually doing on his lap. So everybody record. Right, into Druids. You see that hard on the throttle. You can see he is just correcting that steering on the way down to Graham Hill Bend. He's early into second. Maybe slightly late on the power there, but who am I to criticise? Down Cooper Straight into Surtees. You see, you just got to wait. There was a little dab of throttle there and then he backed out again. Obviously he's just making sure the car is stable there, but then we're flat on the power again. Down Pilgrim's Drop into Hawthorns, which is a really quick right-hander on the brakes, down 2 gears. As soon as you see that kink right there in the curb, that's when you're straight back on the throttle. Use the exit curb up towards Westfields now. You've got to be brave through that corner. You're down a gear, you throw it in, you cut as much curb as you can. Down Dingle Down, up towards Sheen Curve. You're looking for that white marker on the right-hand side. That is your point to say brake and turn. And then on the way down into Stirling, second gear, cut the curve nicely on the throttle, nice and early. So this is looking like a good lap into Clark Curve. Marker on the left-hand side, will down 2 gears. But again, he's up changing really early there. Now, why is he doing that? Well, it's helping balance the car, and it's meaning he can get power down without trying to break traction. And you can see he's improved. He's done a 23.4. So Michael is setting the bar at the moment. Pony's in second. Drifter in the Jag. I don't know how he did it last week. He was absolutely immense in that Jag last week, and we know she's not an easy car to drive by any shape. Let's see if he can improve on this lap. We've got just under 10 minutes left of this qualifying session. Track has cooled by a degree. We are optimum, so Drifter's currently in second place as we come into Graham Hill Bend onto Cooper's Straight, and then into Surtees. So he's in first gear there. Interesting. Car seems to be behaving, which is good. Rd2K's put his Beamer into second place at the moment. Good lap time from you, Rob. Pony's in fourth. Cool. Again, joining us for the first time this evening is in fifth. Marty's currently sixth. Milden is seventh. Keno's eighth. Keno and Milden have done exactly the same time, so that's the second time we've had that happen this evening. Jetpacker is ninth. Dokuno, after his first flying lap, is in the pits currently, 2 seconds off the pace, and we've got someone a little bit wayward there. Drifter navigates that one, which is good news. Kagatakos is in 10th. Hutch 11th. Andy Cray is in 13th at the moment as we come up to Clark Curve. Squeeze that throttle, go. So, run to the line. Can he improve? He's 0.759 off the pole time at the moment. No, he doesn't improve. So, let's go a bit further down the grid. So, GT Jamie is 12th at the moment, 2.196 off the pace. Well, we've just been on with a Jag. Let's go on with GT Jamie. I know he was saying earlier on he wasn't particularly happy with his Lexus. He was saying he couldn't quite get her dialed in as he would like. But I've got a lot of faith in Jamie. I'm sure he'll be definitely involved within the top 10 this evening. So Hutch 15th, Andy 16th, Bruges is out, Crazy Shigs Shares, Romario and Steph are out and haven't set the time as yet. So remember this massive list I was talking about earlier on today, a few moments ago. So AMS now sticks his into second place, and Crazy's is now in third as he comes down Paddock Hill Bend. Obviously Jamie just had a bit of an issue there, which I thought I'd get off quite quickly. I'm sure he doesn't want that on his YouTube channel. Yeah, so Rd2K, I said, is normally in the top 5. He got Drifter as 5th. So at the moment the top 6 are separated by less than a second. Crazy's is definitely going to want to be next to, maybe slightly in front, maybe slightly behind, but next to, same row as Mr. Michael Races, because those two have both, especially Crazy's after the last race, they've both got points to make up for this championship. I know we're early days, it's only round 2, but as I've said before, the talent in this field is such, you need to be making those points count. Every single race counts. Every position, every point that you pick up because you just don't know where it's going to lead at the end of the season. You really don't. It's that tight. So anyway, we haven't done this so far this evening. I've probably left it too long now, but anyway, lot is back. Yes, the Cooper coffee delivery device, brought to you in association with FRL merchandise store, provided by Daz Parker. www.formularacingney.co.uk. Pick any of that stuff up, and if you will specifically want a COMMS by Coops merch, let me know and I'll open a line. What can I say? What can I say? All my 3 people that are watching might want something. So traction does improve. Wow, sorry, I'll rephrase that. I was going to say crazy's improved because we're on board with it, but no, look at this. We've got a McLaren lockout at the front at the moment. So Michael and Traction, remember their team is, what is it? I'm on YouTube. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm probably expecting that more in the race, to be fair. I'm not. Traction's a great guy. So Ams is 4th, Drifter is 6th, Rd2, so he's backed out there. You can see with just over 5 minutes left on this. Good luck to everyone. Thanks, Coop, for all you do in the comms. You're very welcome, Georgie Priest. I love it when our American guys pop in and say hello. He's probably on his lunch break or something now, or he's trying to feed one of his 2,800 kids and remodel a kitchen and run the American League. It's just so easy, isn't it? Yeah, so easy. Good to have you with us, Georgie, as always, mate. Ponyfeeder 7th, and then we've got Jetpacker. So Jetpacker's going to want to improve on that time. He's normally got more pacing in than that. Ben finds himself out of shape at the moment in 9th. Again, they're all going to be on second run, so we're going to see what they do. Yes, sir, lunchtime. Good. Good. You chow down, mate. Refuel. Right, Marty's in 10th in the pits. So Rob's really just trying to find himself a little bit of space at the moment. Now, can you imagine? Obviously, Brandon, you can see on the mini-map down there on the bottom right-hand side, it's a busy track. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and we've only got 22 in. Now, when obviously we did the first PS5 season, we had 29 running, and you know, I know you see stuff on the PC where you've got like crazy, like 50, 60, 70, 100 car grids, which I have seen as bonkers. Qualifying becomes really important because you need to find that space. If you don't have the space to be able to punch in a lap, then you're going to struggle and you're going to get caught up in the pack. So Rob's probably spent this entire last lap trying to make sure he's got space. I think the problem he's going to have, I'm sure that's Kaga in front of him. It is Kagatako's in front of him. The problem I think Rob's going to have, quite honestly, is if Kaga's just done his quick lap, he's probably doing a cool down lap or just, you know, thinking about stuff whilst he's going around the track. So Rob might end up catching him, which won't help. That certainly won't help. We'll see how it develops. Drifter is in the pits at the moment, probably making a couple of quick changes. So Ben is 8th, Pony's 9th, Keno is 10th. Those two are teammates, remember, so they're next to each other. Marty's 11th, Cool in his Beamer is currently in 12th, Kagatako's 13th, Bruges is 14th in the pits. Andy is 15th out on track at the moment, number 16 Lexus. Dokuno is 16th. GT Jamie is 17th at the moment in his Lexus. I mean, maybe he really doesn't have her dialed in. Evan, hello Coops, how are you all keeping? Very well, Evan. Very, very well, mate. And how are you doing, good sir? Good to have you with us. If you're just catching up, Evan, we're in qualifying for the FRL Taco Tuesdays, round 2 at Brands. And it's been pretty eventful so far. We've had some massively quick times go in, but I have been saying this grid is a lot. Okay, so Ben's in as well. This is going to be so. Ben Gallagher, because I've been saying it for a long time. He is very, very quick, very, very quick, and I'm not going to be surprised to see him and Romario further up that grid. Where's Shez? Where is Shez? So he's out at the moment. Okay. He's down in 19th, right, so at the sharp end, Michael's still going round. Quickest time so far, 1:23.439. He is 69 thousandths ahead of his teammate, Traction Dave. So we've got a McLaren lockout at the moment. Crazy's obviously always knocking on that door. He's currently in 3rd, but he's half a second down the road, which again, I mean, yesterday I think there was a 4/10 gap between pole and second. I was saying that, I mean, that's a big gap. So we've got nearly 6 tenths here, although Ben, he decides to get involved with the party as well, as always, and expected, in his Bentley, and he is still just over half a second behind, but puts himself into third, drops Crazies to fourth, and then we've got AMS in fifth place at the moment, Jetpacker. So we're seeing the time, so the top 10 are split by less than a second. Keno's in the pits, I'm sure, I'm just going to say that, I'm sure he'll decide to come out for one more lap. He seems to have found a spot with some space, so that's good. He's got GT Jamie in front of him, so just be careful in case he throws it off. Not that I'm saying he would. Chris, why are you not racing tonight? Mr. Gedman is in the live chat. He is our compare and host on the podcast with his wife Dal. Why are you not racing, Chris? Tell me why. So GT Jamie pulls out of the way. Good move. So we'll stick on with Keno, but we will keep an eye on the other doubters at the moment. No change in the top 6. So Rob is still 7th, Drifter's 8th, Marty's 9th, Pony's 10th. It is unreal. It really is unreal the amount of talent that we have in this grid. And wow, look at that. So Crazies, we were saying half a second. Crazies has put a stonking lap in there, so he's under a 10th. So he's 87 thousandths off Michael, but he's obviously a lot closer to traction as we've got yellow flags there. Someone's had themselves a little bit of a wobble, probably coming out of Sheen Curve, and I'm assuming there's been a few pirouettes there before ending up in the wall in that shape. We the Kev got off work to listen. Oh, wow, Kev, if that's the case, mate, if you just want to listen to me and what you've written there, I've got a special phone number. It's 01096 7544. Gedman knows the rest. We share a credit card on it. He'll fill you in, probably. Good to have you with us, everybody. If you haven't liked, please make sure you do like it. Obviously, it means a lot to me with the amount of time that goes into this, and does, I believe, it helps the channel. That's what they tell me anyway. Right, traction's in the pits. So we are in the wait time. So if you're on a quick lap, you can finish that lap at the moment. Michael is still out. I don't think he really needs to worry. Traction's second place. He's in the pits. He's finished. Crazy's is third place. He's in the pits. Finished. Cool. Look at him. Puts it into fourth place. Well done, mate. That's 3 tenths off the pace. His session is finished. Marty's in the pits in 5th. And then Ben currently is 6th, but out on track as Keno goes way wide there. Pushing too hard, so that's that lap done and dusted. Let's get on board of Ben as he crosses the line. Does not improve, so Ben stays 5th. AMS is 6th. Wow. I think, yes, a very, very hot line. And Chris is saying me, obviously you, Chris, with your beautiful Scottish tones. I'm not going to do it. You know what? I wanted to do it, I'm not going to. Right. So we are in the pits. 1 minute 50 left before we get both. Don't be greedy, Kev. Okay, then you, said Chris. Stop putting me off. This is trying to be professional. Like, wow. That's pushing it a little bit. So, your grid for round 2. We've got Michael on pole. Teammate, Traction Dave, sat next to him in second place. Row 2, we've got Crazies and Cool. Row 3's Marty Road Racing and Ben Milden. And then row 4, you've got AMS and Jetpacker. Row 5, you've got Rob and TK Drifter. Now, before we go any further, they're only separated by 7.5 tenths. That's ridiculous. That's your top 10. Telling you this is a competitive field. 11th is Pony Feeder, and then his teammate Keno is next to him in 12th. There's your second gap. So your top 12 are separated by just over a second. Dokuno, who had a great run last week, is 13th. Kagatako's 14th. Bruges has put his Beamer into 15th place. It's only a second and a half down. Andy's 16th in the Lexus. Jamie can't seem to get his Lexus to work, as he did say on the live chat earlier, in 17th. And then we've got Hutch in 18th. Shez is 19th. Steph is... Oh, Steph made it. Hiya, Steph. Well done. Glad you got in there. Romario is 21st and 22nd. Change of car there. And then obviously me. Best driver on the grid, no doubt, because I could talk and drive. Ollie was in earlier on, so I'm not actually sure if he's supposed to be racing tonight or not. Shigs and Ben are going to bring up the rear without setting a lap time. So, you know what I'm expecting? I'm not expecting chaos. I am not expecting chaos. Chris says, what? Yeah, I know, Chris. It's mad, isn't it? It is mad. And JR says, smash all the buttons. Yeah, please. Please listen to him. GT Jamie, Sunday drive for an hour. Hey, go for your safety rating, Jamie. I don't know. Pick up some decent points. There will be incidents, of course there will. Brands is a track, you can't mess about at Brands. It's going to be ultra competitive. People are going to touch, not each other, but they are going to touch. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm excited for this one. Track still optimum 24 and 27, so the track temps come down a couple of degrees from qualifying, which is good news for those tyres. Everyone should be happy with that. It's 90. Oh dear, they're all having a good little gas, which is good. That's what I like to see. They're at it. Wow. I'm not gonna. This is the beauty, because you lot are all driving. I'm not going to divulge what's going on in the live chat now. One of our, resident, rather fast drivers, is giving out some interesting setup tips. So we'll see. We'll see if that works. So I'm not going to commentate tonight. As soon as that goes 30 seconds, I'm pressing drive. Yeah, and I'm going to show I am slow. Who is the best on controller? There we go. That's it. That's what I'm saying. Obviously, I won't do that. Right. It's not cold yet. We're still winning with the coffee delivery device. Obviously, we haven't said hello this evening. Make sure everyone in the live chat, please say hello to Mike. You know the deal. You know the deal. It's not just me that sits here and does this. Mike is always with us. And one day, someone is just going to say to me in the live chat, "Could you just shut up, mate? Just stop talking drivel." Kevin says he got excited for a second. That's good. Okay, hold on. Gedman's, what's he saying? I could get a 24.4 in my 23.5. Really? That's impressive, Chris. I'll have to watch. Are you driving later on in the Slammers? I don't want to watch that. I'll give you all some stick. Okay, 1 minute 42. Normally we talk about what's everyone doing at the moment, and why is that Bentley on the slam? Well, obviously that Bentley, excuse me, that's Steph. He's sat in his setup at the moment, which you should all be doing. As you can see, they're all jacked. Should all be in the setups, otherwise your tyre temps are just going to disintegrate and you're going to be on very, very cold tyres. So whether you're doing anything in your setup or not, if you're new and you're wondering why, be sat in your setup until probably the last 15 seconds, then come out and press drive. Then your tyres will be nice and warm and sticky and you should be alright. Oh, he's in Manchester with work. Okay. Well, good to know you're doing something, whatever that is. Yeah, so remember, we have one mandatory stop that is detailed on the timing screen. You can see that over there. All those beautiful ones, when they've completed that stop, that will go green, and that obviously means they have then completed their stop and they are good to go until the end of the race. Obviously we have stewarding. Stewarding is in place as it is for every race, so any incidents that happen, and it's not done in a draconian way, I'll say that properly. It's obviously done to help everybody. We can always all learn and get better, and that's what we're here for. So everyone is encouraged to put tickets in, even if it's a minor incident, and it's not about trying to get people bans and points and all these things, although Dow likes to do that. Because he's a bit narcissistic. Yeah, it's not about doing that. It's about helping everyone. So I'm going on with Cool. I'm going to put some pressure on Coolie Boy. Look at those two McLarens sat in front as we get the formation lap underway. If you want to just joining us, Hangman Dell. That's correct, Hangman Dell. That is right, Chris. If you're just joining us, we are in the formation lap. Qualifying has been complete. Top 10, less than a second. Between them, sorry, top 12 less than a second between them, so I'm expecting a very competitive race this evening, and hopefully a clean one. so that we can all get excited and shout about. I am sat in this view, as you all know, at that watch regularly. If you don't watch regularly, I have no choice. We're on the PS5, the game is bugged. Until they fix that, I cannot bring you the stellar show that normally happens with regards to interior, exterior cameras, wing mirrors, predictions, or, you know, seeing how things are developing. This is what we've got and have had for a few months. I think we make it work. So you guys can feed back to me and let me know. Right. So through Surtees, on the way down the long straight, down Pilgrims, and then Hawthorne and Westfield. So where are the dangerous parts of this track where we're going to potentially see some action? Well, in the first couple of laps, obviously tyres, they're not going to be completely in the window, although you can see Cool's doing his best at the moment. He's doing a bit of weaving, he's on and off those brakes, he's trying to generate that heat to go into the tyres and the brakes. Depending on what fuel levels everyone's running, whether they're full fuel till the end of the race or whether they're half fueled, if they're going to stop halfway or quarter, or, you know, whatever that strategy is, that's going to make a big difference. It's going to affect the way the car balances through those corners, and therefore the inputs of the drivers are going to have to be, I would suggest, at the start of the race, just a little bit more tentative. Yeah, I don't mean sort of trying to put your foot through the floor to get the accelerator down. Probably a little bit more of a caressing nature, shall I say, at the start of the race, and then we'll see how it goes. Chris is nervous. Me too, can't you tell? I'm not nervous, I'm excited. I think this is going to be a brilliant race. Traction's going to smash Michael off at the beginning and be like, how we're, yeah, obviously means get out of the way, but they can't formulate words properly up there, so I've heard. That's not from me, obviously. Be kind, YouTube, please. And Crazy's, I don't know, Ben. I mean, Ben came from 12th last night to finish 3rd, so you can always bet on him. And Am's had some stonking, I don't know. It's going to be crazy. Anyway, on to the start, finish straight. I hope everybody's ready, and I hope you all enjoy the next 60 minutes. So, Formula Racing League, Taco Tuesday, round 2 at Brands. We are good to go. We're approaching the timing line, and we are green, and we're off. So on the way up towards Paddock Hill Bend, Traction and Michael, as you can see, they're nice and close. Crazies is looking up the inside, does have the inside line up there. He's going to take the inside line into Druids, but wow, Cool got a really, really good drive off Paddock Hill Bend, didn't he? And Marty Road Racing, he's just been pushed out the way by Ben, not literally, but Ben had the inside line up there. So Ben's already made a move, one place up, which is good for him. And then we've got Ams and Jetpacker on the climb. Here we go. So this is what it's going to be for the next hour, okay? It's going to be frantic, it's going to be crazy racing. We'll let the computer do its brain fart as it does every time in the first lap, whilst we all go through the timing screen. So Michael's out top, half a second ahead of Traction, and then Traction's, he's got himself half a second on Cool, so he's done very well to get himself to 3rd. Crazies are now going to not be just thinking about those McLarens in front of him, he's got to deal with Cool, but you saw Ben had a little nibble at him there, but that caused Ben to go a bit wide. So Marty Road Racing, he stuck it up the middle going through Westfield, so that's a great move by him. As that Am's gone through as well, so Am's has gone through as we come up to Sheen Curve. No one's passing through there, and that's just about bravery. And so you've got 3 Bentleys there, have all made a nice move, and Ben is still holding on to that 5th place. So Ben, Marty, Ams, Jetpacker, they're all covered by a second. And then, oops, well, we've had somebody's decided they didn't like the braking board there. Jetpacker's in 8th, so it wasn't anything to do with him. I'm sure TK Drifter was going slower there. It looks like Drifter was involved, because you can see he's dropping down the timing screens there. So Marty comes through Paddock Hill Bend, no change at the front. We'll keep our eye on all those deltas. You've got to be really wary of all these guys. I can't say to you any of these guys that are racing right now, well, he's a dark horse, he's pretty quick. They're all really quick. The one that we don't know about in terms of actually watching is the guy we're on board with at the moment, Cool, who we know is a very, very good friend of Ben, and they've raced together previously. I know of him, I know he's very quick, and he looks like he wants to actually put a challenge on these 2 McLarens. So it's good to see. It's good to see it happening. So Marty's in 8th, Rob's in 9th, Pony is in 10th at the moment, so he's held that position. Keno's in 11th. I know Keno is desperate for a clean race this evening. We'll get on board a pony feeder as he starts putting some pressure on Rd2 as we come down towards Sheen Curve. Down with the brakes, turn her in, make sure she's balanced, then hard on the throttle down towards Sterling's. There was a brake board there, it's now gone, so everyone's going to have to readjust their braking lines through there. Braking zone, sorry. Down into second gear, run down towards Clark Curve. Again, you saw Pony's just sticking his nose out a little bit there, just saying to him, I'm here, don't go too deep. Stop it, Chris, stop it. Keno's in 11th, Kagatako's is 12th, he's only half a second. Oh, who's out? So Bruges is right up alongside Kagatako's. They've gone too wide through Paddock Hill Bend. That would have been a brilliant thing to view if we had some real camera angles, but into Druids. So Bruges has got the inside line, he's taken that line. Kaga's trying to go all the way around the outside, manages to do that. Can he now stay up the inside for Graham Hill Bend? He can, and Bruges should not be turning in then. Bruges should not be turning in then. They were alongside each other, so if there's going to be a ticket, maybe there should be. Well, we'll see what happens at the end of the race, but I believe there that Bruges should have given more space, much more space there. Anyway, we're on board of Hutch. Hutch finds himself in 13th place, no change up front, although Ben is a lot closer to Crazies. He's only just 3 tenths down. Mighty Road Racing, as you can see, is less than a tenth behind Jetpacker. That's extended evidently, as you can see, again up towards Sheen. Everybody's doing what they need to do on traction. Dave's evidently had an issue there. He's dropped from second down to 6th place, so I wonder what's happened to traction. Meanwhile, that means that Cool Racing finds himself up massively and quite comfortably on the podium now alongside Crazies. So 1, 2 and 3, they've all got a decent gap between them. Ben is keeping Crazies, well, I'm going to say honest. I think he's going to be pushing for a long time. These two massively consistent drivers, both aggressive when they need to be in terms of attack and defence. You don't see many mistakes out of these two, and I believe this one is going to rumble on for quite some time, so we'll stick on board with them. Pony's only 2 tenths behind Rd2, so that's 9th and 10th. That could be worth a look at a moment. Bruges is 12th, Hutch is 13th, Andy's 14th, and then GT Jamie in his Lexus, which we know he's not happy with, is 15th, but he's only 3 tenths behind Andy, so he could be developing a move on him. Dokuno is 16th, Kagatakos finds himself down in 17th, Shez is 18th, Steph's 19th, Drifter's down in 20th place, as you can see there, obviously from that incident he had. Shigs is 21st, Romario's 22nd, Venom is way off the pace at the moment in his Beamer, and Ben, well, Ben's just decided, I'm sure Ben's just started from the back and he's pitted as soon as that pit window's opened, and that was an uncharacteristic error there by Ben going through Sheen Curve. Hey, happens to the best of them, and I'm sure it's going to happen multiple times this evening. So Mr. Gallagher, as we can see, I'm sure that he has pitted as soon as that window's opened to get it out of the way and just hope that he can get some consistency and clean air. However, the problem that he does have at the moment is he's being blue flagged left, right and centre, because obviously he's pitted early, and obviously the rules state he's not going to be on the lead lap, and he will need to give way unless he can be massively quicker and people don't close up on him. He is going to have to give way. So Drifter looks like he wants to put a move on Steph. Where's Drifter gone? Yeah, Drifter's made that move on Steph, and we've got Steph there is all over the back. Is that Hutch? 511? No, so that's Drifter and Steph. So they're still continuing their battle. It's always good to see. It is always good to see. So what are we, 7 minutes into this hour race, and at the front everything looks pretty calm. Michael Race is out up top, qualified on pole. He looks like he's having a decent run at the moment. He's made himself a 1.8 second lead over Cool. Remember, Cool is a reservist and first race in with us tonight. Won't be his last, no doubt about that. And then you've got Ben Milden is in 3rd place. So where is Crazies? Oh, come on, don't tell me. Right, anybody on the live chat, Gedman, if you're watching, what's happened to Crazies? Has he disconnected, or was he in an incident? What's happened, mate? Because that is really, really unfortunate if he's disconnected there. I'm hoping it's not a rage quit. because that would be quite sad. We're only the second race into the season, so if it is a disconnection, that is terrible luck, as he was doing extremely well. I mean, it happens, we know that. So Ben's elevated up to the podium, so we'll be happy with that. Ams is 4th. He won't be going anywhere. He'll be keeping a very, very watchful eye and just consistently putting those laps in. Marty finds himself in 5th. Traction is 6th. Obviously had that incident earlier on. Now, Traction's got to not fall into the trap of overdriving that McLaren now to, you know, in his haste to make up those positions that he's lost. So we'll see what he does. We know the car is quick. He had it second on the grid, so we know she's got the pace. He's probably just got to clear his head and pretty much ignore everybody else really, and pretend he's doing a really long qualifying session for a few laps. Jetpacker, oh, I was going to say Jetpacker's only half second off him, but he's not now. He's just had a spin at Sheen Curve in the Audi, notorious for the Audi there, and that's obviously put him deep into Sterling's. He's going to have dirty tyres as well, so that's giving Ponyfeeder a sniff at clawing that gap back. And then his teammate Kino, as we go under the bridge towards Clark Curve. Kino's in 9th, Bruges is in 10th at the moment in his Beamer, and Rd2K's down in 11th, so Rob's obviously had an issue somewhere, because he wasn't near that part. Certainly not. 8 currently watching. Welcome. If you haven't said hi, please do. We won't bite. Everyone will have a good natter with you in the chat, including me. Any shouts out you want to do, let me know. Under the bridge into Druids we go. We're on board with Rob at the moment in 11th. He's looking to close that gap down to Bruges and Kino. Ponyfeeder's now only 7.5 tenths, so that's pretty good. Dokuno, wow, as we come into Graham Hill Bend, Dokuno in 13th is all over the back of Andy. So again, you've got two very different cars there. You've got the Lexus, which is obviously massive in terms of straight line speed, which is good stable platform, and you've got the Ferrari, which carries a lot of good speed and is good in most situations. So two very different cars there. Look like they're shaping up to have a nice little battle. Jamie's got himself up to 14th, so whether he did that setting that JR gave him I don't know, but he certainly seems to be fitting into a rhythm now. He's only 6 tenths off. We can have a look from Jamie actually, because we can see how he's getting on, and we can see that battle in front of Andy Cray and Dokuno. We can see how that develops as they go through Sheen Curve, and you saw that Ferrari of Dokuno there was bouncing and jumping. He was definitely correcting some oversteer there as well. Pretty scary moment, that one probably. Other close ones up the front. Michael's still leading this race, 2.2 seconds ahead of Cool. Ben's 3rd. Ams is 4th, 1.1 behind. I have to keep an eye on that, as we saw Andy Cray run wide there. So down the Brabham Straight, that's allowed Dokuno to duck up in the inside as we go towards Paddock Hill Bend. He does duck up the inside, and Andy doesn't really have a choice. He had to back it. Well, he does have a choice, and who's that? We've got Beamer off there, and Bruges. So Bruges has had an incident going up the hill. Probably got on the gravel. Chris says that Crazy's got disconnected. I am sorry to hear that. I am sorry to hear that, dude. That's a real shame. So that's not going to help that championship bid. So Bruges is now in the pits after having that crash. He did port to the pits. Obviously got that on the stream. We'll see if he stays in or if he doesn't. Let's see what happens. So Traction is still running in 6th place. You can see them all. They're just there. Go faster, as Keddy would say, but don't die. So we've got 10 watching at the moment, guys and girls. Any questions, anything you want to know about the race, what's happened, any specific drivers, please do put a shout out in there. We've had 12 minutes of this race so far. The track temperature's actually come down again. It's now 24 degrees, so that's going to be helping them. Michael's still out up top. He's got a 3-second lead over Cool Racing. Ben Milden's 3rd. Ams is 4th. Marty Road Racing is 5th. You can see Ams has brought that gap down. It was 1.1 seconds to Ben. It's now 8.5 tenths. So maybe Ams is slowly trying to reel him in. Obviously he'd like that podium position, no doubt. Marty's 5th. We're on board with Traction at the moment. Traction qualified 2nd with his teammate and was running 2nd for the good opening part of this race. He's had an issue somewhere and dropped down to 6th, so he's busy beavering away trying to get that back. Jetpacker is coming up to Surtees, so he's 6 seconds down the road. So there is your split. You know, your top 6 are away at the moment, but Pony fancies a little bit of that Audi. We did see on the previous lap, or lap prior to this one, Jetpack had got all out of shape coming through Sheen Curve. As you can see, Pony was trying to take a lot of speed through Hawthorns there, and that didn't exactly go as planned. As we go through Westfields, you're always on tenterhooks, down Dingledale, up towards Sheen. Here we go, dab of the brakes there, turn her in, balance, go. And this last lap, that was where Jetpacker had an issue in the Audi. She got way out of shape, and you know what? I feel your pain there, Pony, because when I'm driving the Ferrari, obviously you always want to use all of the track. We know that, yeah. So you can take more speed in, have better lines, straight. You know, make sure most of the lines are straight. As Cool comes into the pits, interesting. So he's doing an early stop there. Yeah, and just as you're coming up towards Stirling's, obviously you've got to get wide to the right. And I do find that is one corner in probably the biggest offender on this whole game. For some reason, and it's only ever happens to me in the Ferrari, you put a tyre just a millimetre towards that white line. If you catch it, it will always just drag the car slightly, and you saw that with him. That made him go really wide. Who's that? Has Bruges quit? Well, if he's not in, he has, Chris. No, well, Bruges is still... Well, it says he's still in the server. Let's have a look. Well, it says he's still in the pits. So if he stays in the pits, then no. But, yeah, he did port to the pits after it looked like a spin coming out of Paddock Hill Bend, FYI. Okay? Right, so Ams now finds himself in third place, so he's not content with that. So he's really putting some pressure on Ben as we go through Sheen Curve into Stirling's. Hard on the throttle. We've got Bentley versus Bentley. Interesting. Up towards Clark Curve. Squeeze that throttle on. Takes a wider line than Ben there, so you would assume that he's going to be able to get a little bit more power. So into Paddock Hill Bend. It's been very interesting to watch the lines of these two. Massively quick guys. Ultra consistent, and I mean ultra, they all are, you know. I'm not singling anyone out for being any better than anyone else really, as Traction is now half a second behind Marty, so he is closing that gap down slowly but surely. It all counts. What else have we got close? Nothing else close at the moment, so I'm in the pits obviously as we go through. Oh, big moment, a big moment for Hams there. He was on the throttle too early, which caused him to understeer slightly. He got one tyre on the dirt there, and he was... that was definitely happening for him. So he's now got to cool himself off and start again. That's given Ben a little bit of a breather, not much, because he's still got to hit his markers, but it's given him a little breather. Icons had to stop us. Oh... Sean, mate, that is awful news. I hope you're alright, dude. So Sean's, yeah, I'd said Sean had pitted early, but he hasn't. He's just shared with us, and I'm going to share it with the world. I'm sure he won't mind, but injured his knee on Saturday, and he's really struggling with that. Well, mate, if it's any consolation, when that knee's better, you got to get involved. Yeah, I'm sure Ben's been rabbiting on about FRL for a long time and what we do and how we do it. It is competitive racing, and I hope you've had a taste of that this evening. But yeah, sorry mate, I am sorry to hear that. On a different note though, so my knee doesn't pop out, can you make sure you like the stream please, and if you haven't subbed, please do. Well, if I'm not going to ask then, when am I going to ask? Come on guys, give me a break. Anyway, back to the racing. So Michael stay at top. Ben now finds himself in second place. As we know, we're on board with AMS. Probably the same sort of gap we picked them up on previously, and then AMS had a slightly wayward issue there. I looked like I was probably going to be sick from that facial expression, but I wasn't. So he's still trying to hunt him back down as we're into the first quarter of the race complete, and AMS took a lot more pace through Hawthorns there, so through Westfields, down Dingledale. Let's see what he's going to do through Sheen. Interesting. Is Ben feeling the pressure a little bit? Are these boys going to keep it up for 43 minutes? That's what I'm saying. I think they are. I really do think they are. The calibre is that high. So Marty's got a really nice view of this battle. So let's enjoy Marty's view of second and third place having a go at each other. So Traction is still 5th, Jetpacker 6th, Pony's in 7th, Keno's in 8th, so good team run from those two at the moment of the track coming through Paddock Hill Bend, but not so much that we end up on the beach. Rd2's 9th, Dokuno, again, he's been consistent, plugging away, finds himself now in the top 10. He has just pitted though, so Jamie finds himself top 10, Kagatakas will be 11th, Drifters down in 12th, obviously he had that issue at the start of the race, which was really unfortunate for him. Shigs is 14th, Hutch is 15th. We'll have a look at you in a minute, Hutch. Steph. Right, let's get on board with Hutch. Let's see what Hutch could do in his Jag. Sean says most definitely will be racing here from now on. Top lead. Good. Good to know, my man. That's what we like to hear. Hutch. So, you know, everyone used to moan about the commentator's curse by COMMS. And we all know that doesn't exist. It's the fact I don't miss anything. And I've seen Hutch was in a really nice position there. Nice delta, went to give him some airtime and he threw it off the track, so we'll leave that and we'll go back on with AMS. Surprisingly, you can see that is not 3/10 as they're coming up towards Clark Curve, so at some point, well, okay, Ben's thinking, alright, Ben's thinking, nope, pit time, and here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Sean, if you haven't seen this before, watch, look at that Ferrari, the 101 Ferrari, without a doubt the best car FRL has ever seen. Not the quickest, but the best. And obviously, in case you're wondering, at the bottom it says SR Cooper, that's me. Right, so Dokuno's pitted, Andy's pitted, Ben has pitted, and Shares has pitted. As we can see, Ben's still trying to make moves, so he goes through Paddock Hill Bend. He's just trying to come back through the field after starting from the very rear. Michael's got himself a 10-second lead now over AMS. That is not, do you know what? It's not easy. That is not easy to build up round Brands. It's a short track. It's a quick track. But Marty thinks, well, Ben's out of the way, I might as well have a pop at AMS. So AMS has gone from being the hunter to the hunted in the space of a lap. So let's see how his defensive driving is. A little bit of grass taken there. Marty's putting the pressure on without a doubt. Traction is 6.8 seconds down the road, so he must have had an issue because he was close to Marty, and that gap has become pretty large. But he's got a second back to Jetpacker in 5th place. Pony's in 6th, Rob's 7th, Jamie's now up to 4th, Kaga's in not 4th, Jamie's up to 8th. I haven't had anything to drink apart from coffee. All right. So Jamie's in 8th, Kaga's in 9th, and then Drifter has managed to get back up into the top 10 as Marty gets pretty close onto the back of AMS as we go down towards Graham Hill Bend. Didn't quite take the right line through there, so you saw that he understeered. He had to wait to get on the throttle, and you can see, you can visually see that gap has increased to AMS now. So again, giving him a breather and a touch of oversteer on the way out there as well. So Marty's evidently pushing hard. Maybe his tyres are coming to the end of their window. Who knows? But that's given AMS, definitely given him some breathing space. Meanwhile, Jetpacker in his Audi, he wants to put some pressure on traction. That's under a second. Pony's dropped off now as well, which is a shame. Shigs finds himself up in the top 10. Well done to you and Steffi. We didn't even think was going to make it this evening. He's now in 11th place in his Bentley. Drifter's in the pits. Ben, as you can see, has completed his pit stop, comes out in 12th. Drifter's in the pits, Hutch is in the pits, and then we've got Romario. You haven't seen Romario this evening in his McLaren. Romario, French driver, joined us over the weekend. Did his first race last night in the Mixed Mondays. I was really impressed with him. I think was it a top 6 finish? Really good pace. So again, another drive. I was saying on the stream last night, you do find that a lot of the drivers that are in the top echelons of their own leagues are coming over here because they're obviously hearing on the grapevine what's happening within FRL. You know, if you're on social media, you are going to see stuff. I post about 1 million things a week for FRL. Chris does, James does, Crazies does, Ben does, and Michael does, Traction does. You know, we're all over YouTube, Twitch, all the socials. You know, we're doing the podcast. We're racing 4 or 5 nights a week. That's just on console. You've got all the stuff going on PC, the rookie leagues, the GT3 leagues, the special event. It is endless, seriously. And it's no wonder that people are wanting to come and have a look. And so I have to say, if Sean, if you are still watching, if you're not, I don't blame you. Obviously, you're not going to want to sit here and watch everyone else race, potentially. But if you are still watching, I was saying last night, we had a couple of newbies in from BRG who looked pretty quick. But I was saying, you don't really very often see anybody jump in and dominate. Yeah, there's always, because our drivers are quick. I have to say, I've been impressed that you were in the top 3. I'm not saying you shouldn't be in the top 3, but as a first one out the bag, that was impressive. So get that knee fixed, mate. Someone's got to beat Michael. Right, anyway, Venom finds himself, as we're on board with Mario at the moment, Mario's 13th, Venom finds himself in 14th place, hasn't pitted yet, nor has Romario. Then we've got Dokuno in 15th, has pitted. Let's get on board with Kino. Let's see a Ferrari challenge, shall we? Dokuno in the 112 Ferrari, Kino in the 177 Ferrari. They're in 15th and 16th place respectively. Kaga comes in the pits from 9th, and Kino, wow. You heard those tyres scrubbing there. Excuse me, that was not pleasant. Not for him or his tyres. Drift is in 17th, and Andy's in 18th. Ben, as you can see from starting at the back, doing that early pit stop, is in 19th. Hutch is 20th. Shez, reserved for this evening, is in 21st. And then obviously Sean's in the pits, obviously injury to the knee. Bruges is in the pits. I think that was mainly to do with that that slight wander off the track after Paddock Hill Bend. And Crazy's disconnected, which was really, really unfortunate. So whilst this is happening, Kino's dropped off, and Dokuno is now all over the back of Venom. So I think Venom might duck it in the pits on this lap. It looks like that. No, maybe not. So Venom stays out. Have to say, it's a good name. Venom's a good name, and I like the livery on that car. It looks quite Venom-y. I like it. So Dokuno, well, there's a move coming there. He's definitely got some pace. Just modulate those brakes as he does. Venom can't turn in on him evidently, but hey, he had good situational awareness. No doubt was having a look at his radar. Oh dear, who's that? That's just flew through there. Oh, so it's the big boys. So Venom's got himself in quite a difficult situation now, because we've got cars that are now being lapped. So we are 25 minutes into this 60-minute race. You can see the pit stop strategies are now starting to play out. Michael is still up top as we go through the scary part and then through the next scary part of this track. So I want to see what his gap is. Look, Marty's still only half a second behind. So Michael's now got a 12-second lead over AMS, and that will probably be also to do with the fact that these guys are in traffic and they're battling with each other. So you got to think they're trying to make their way through the traffic, but they're also who was that who just ducked out of the way? That was good driving by whoever that was. Anyway, just to keep it out of that battle. Traction is 4th, so you know he's making his way back up. I know we've had some pit stops, but he's trying to secure those points for him and Michael. So Steph's in the pits. Have we got a move? Have we got a move? Marty's gone wide. Marty's going to look to switch that back. AMS is just going to park it. He's maybe taking a little bit too much curve there. That's going to slow his exit. And Marty's got a really good exit out of Paddock Hill Bend there, up towards Druids. They're both on the brakes. And you can see, it's really... I love watching from the Hunted, because you can almost feel what they're doing. You can't try and think about what's going through their minds. You know, okay, I'm going to do this on this corner because he's potentially going to react like that. And all these two are doing is sizing each other up. And again, the beauty of our league is there's so many series, there's so many races going on, and everybody wants to be involved a lot. I'm not saying everybody can race every night of the week, that's reserved for Chris, but everybody races a hell of a lot. So the familiarity between the drivers and the pace and who drives in what way, you can really see that. And that all that does is promote quick, close racing, and obviously clean. I missed that one. I wrote that down earlier, damn it. But there we go. So no change. Michael is just extending that lead. He's probably having quite a lonely race at the moment, so he'll be on his stream chatting to his guys, talking about the weather or whatever it is that's going through his mind at the moment. Dave's probably huffing and puffing on his stream. He's going to be kicking himself. He is, I know he is. He's really hard on himself. So, right, who hasn't pitted? So, first down to 7th, currently have not pitted. Ben is in 8th place, has pitted. Jetpacker, Kaga, Dokuno, Kino and Drifter, they're down to 13th place. They have all pitted. All fairly decent gaps. Drifter's not too far off the back of Kino now, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. Venom's 14th, we had a little look at him earlier on. Andy's 15th, but Gallagher is now up to 16th, so, okay, Ben's starting to show his pace. Let's assume when Venom pits he can pick up another spot. Again, if Ben can do some kind of crazy drive and get himself close to the top 10, that will be impressive. Right, let's come off this battle at the moment. As soon as I do, something's probably going to happen. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there. Maybe we'll stay on for just a couple more corners. Maybe we will. Right, let's have a look. Just heard my name there. Yes, that's right. I wish I could race like Chris. What, badly? No, I mean, not badly. No, I do. I mean, but no, I don't. I'm joking, Chris. I was stumped for words. That doesn't happen very often, and that was a cheap shot. I do apologise. I apologise for that. Crazy says, was I the only one? Yes, Crazies, you are the only one that has DC'd my friend, which was a real shame. I thought you might have just, you know, thrown it at a curb and got really angry, but that evidently didn't happen. So that's hard luck, mate. That is really hard luck. As you can see there, Ams is getting out of shape again. Coming out of Druids there on the way down to Graham Hill Bend, so he is definitely pushing that Bentley as hard as she will let him. And I've got to say, on board Marty, there's no drama. You know, there's no drama going on here. It's very cool. It's very calculated. He's hitting those markers. We're not getting handfuls of oversteer. The car's not pushing. So I would have to say, at this specific stage of the race, as you can see again, Ams is getting a little bit out of shape going into Hawthorns. At this stage of the race, I think Marty has an advantage. Yeah, we'll see if I'm right or wrong. But let's have a look at another battle. Drifter is now going through Dingle Dell up towards Sheen, so he's just behind Kino. Yeah, and Kino's not far behind Dokuno. So we've got a pretty good race going on here at the moment between these three. And then Kagatako's isn't too far up the road, so a little bit of a Ferrari challenge going on there with a Jag. So not really. Andy's in 14th. He's nearly 15 seconds down the road, so he's not going to be doing too much at the moment. Michael decides to pit from the lead, so bang on halfway.
We are halfway through Cambridgeshire.
Yeah, okay, so halfway through the race as we come up to Druids. I wonder what Kino's thinking at the moment. He, I think he's quicker than that. So Pony comes into the pits as well. Someone gets out of the way, which is probably decent driving being lapped there, but that has allowed Drifter to really close up onto the back of Kino as they go through Sterling's. Now we know that Jag's going to have some decent pace down the straight. Is Kino more focused in front, or is he more focused behind? I would suggest he's more focused behind, definitely. As we come up towards Hawthorns again, third gear. As soon as you see that part of the curve there, just where the line comes out a little bit, there's a little bit of a white infill. That's your acceleration point. We've got to be brave, really brave, through Westfield and then up to, well, one of my most favourite corners. You've got to have such commitment through there. Don't touch that white line, especially if you're in a Ferrari. She will pull you off track. So Michael's got his pit stop done. Now, how close is Ben to Michael? So Michael's just come through Sterling's and Ben is just coming down onto the Cooper straight. So that's all good. Ams comes into the pits and Marty says, if you want to race in the pits, I'm going to race in the pits too. So we have a pit lane race. It's like Days of Thunder. Ferrari 101, look at that beautiful car. That's my car. Did anyone know that? No? So these two have had their Days of Thunder race in the hospital in the wheelchairs there in the pit lane, I think. So Jamie, in the car that he can't drive, is going to find himself potentially in the lead of this race, which I'm sure he'll be super happy about until he has to pit and then realise where he's going to come out. Oh, he's pitting now. Oh, he could have led a lap. Gave up the glory there, Jamie. So Michael comes round Clark Curve, goes past the Beamer, and Michael retakes the official lead of the race with just under 28 minutes to go. Ben's currently in second place, although Marty's got a quicker stop done than Ams there by quite a bit. Wow, okay, so he's definitely going to jump him. So as you can see, Ben's just gone through into Paddock Hill Bend. So Ben finds himself now in second place. Marty's come out the pits in third. And Ams is only just getting his stop done. So maybe there was some damage there that he needed to get fixed. Or maybe he was adding fuel at the same time. Maybe he only half fueled. And who's that? 15. And Ams has just got him. Ams has just got himself a stop-go for speed in the pit lane. And that's that race done for him, unfortunately. So Ams is now about damage control. He's going to get back round there, go and sit in the pits, essentially do another full pit stop, and then be on his way again. So he's not going to be happy with that. All that hard work, and it was hard work, is ruined, unfortunately. Crazy says, car felt really good tonight compared to the last brands, which is a shame, but oh well. Well, why don't you go and have a little lemon Fanta? I mean, I did potentially see that. I think you've got an entire factory's worth probably in your cupboard, or certainly Chloe's. So go and nick one or two of those, mate, and you'll be alright. But yeah, it was a shame. I was, as usual, expecting a very, very close race between you and Michael this evening. So you ruined it, Crazies. Ruined it for everyone. So we'll come off Ams then, because, I mean, well, Ams is going to have to get back in the pit. So we can see the sun's getting a little bit low up there, I believe. Jetpacker we are on board with in 5th place. He is only 6/10 behind Ponyfeeder in 4th. That's your closest battle at the top end of the grid currently. Michael's got a commanding lead over Ben. Ben's got a really juicy gap back towards Marty. So as long as they're all as consistent as normal, that potentially should stay the same. Yeah, drown yourself in a Fanta. Yeah, that's right, you do that. Kagatacos. Oh, didn't want to do that either. Okay, so Jetpacker, unfortunately, you know, stage left at Graham Hill Bend there. Again, that would have been one tyre out on the grass, and just the way the camber of all the corners are, you're gone. You have no choice in that matter whatsoever. So Ponyfeeder is now breathing a big sigh of relief that he does not have Jetpacker all over the back of him. And Kagatacos, well, can we just for a moment just have a little look at this and just say, well done, Kaga. I mean, we know he's a Porsche man, but I think he's obviously realised the Ferrari is a better car because he's getting better results than the Ferrari. Don't cry about it, Chris. It's just an observation, not necessarily my opinion. So don't go reporting me to any YouTube police for offending you in this woke day. Right, Traction is now in 7th place. Traction not had a great race this evening. Don't get me wrong, 7th place isn't bad. If I was in 7th place, I would be extremely happy. But if I was in 2nd place and then ended up down there, I wouldn't be happy. But he's fighting away. He's trying to catch up with Kaga. I mean, I'm assuming Traction will be happy with maybe 6th place. Where's Ams gone? Ams has done his stop. He's now down in 15th place. What a shame. What a real shame. Right, closest battle on track we have at the moment. This is one of them. So this is 8th and 9th place up towards Druids. So we've got Dokuno and TK Drifter. And I remember I said to you last week, Dokuno really impressed me. It was his first run in the league. Really good pace. I think he finished 6th last week. And again, you can see he didn't qualify that well, have to say. But he appears to be very cool, very consistent. And I'm assuming he's just been plugging away, putting in consistent laps, staying out of trouble. And he finds himself up in 8th place. Kino's now in the top 10, which is fantastic for him. Jamie obviously was putting his excuse into the live chat before we even got started, I can't drive my car, and well, he's up into 11th place, so he can't be too disappointed with that. I'm sure he would like a top 10. Rob finds himself 12th. I'd say that's pretty out of place for Rob. Let's have a look at him actually. We've been on Rob for a while, and he's just got that move done on Jamie. So say Rob, you would expect Rob easily to be top 8 material, but we've got new drivers that are also putting a good shift in, aren't they? So Rob's in 11th place, Andy's in 13th. Great run from you, Andy, being very, very consistent in that Lexus. And then we've got Steph, who's again, we didn't think was going to be able to be here this evening, but has managed to obviously get whatever needed to be done. Already had one while I was in the race. Well, that's probably what happened then. You know, probably sent some. Well, I don't know what happened, but let's blame it on the Fanta, okay? Blame it on the Fanta. That sun is getting low. We've got 22 minutes left. That sun is getting low. I just wonder. See how low it is now? Yeah. So I wonder if we might dip into a bit of a night race. So AMS is 15th. Obviously AMS was shown amazing pace in the first half of this race, running in the top 3, putting some really big pressure on Ben, who pitted, and then Marty was putting pressure on AMS, so they both pitted at the same time, and so it was a little pit lane race. Marty got a much better pit stop, and then when AMS finally left the box, got himself a stop-go for speed him, which was really unfortunate. So he served that, and he's now in 15th. So damage limitation for AMS. It's about trying to claw a few places back and keep those points on the board. Shigs is 16th. Again, a great run from Shigs. First time in this series, I believe, and is a reserve. Hutch is in 17th place. I need to just check something actually. If Hutch, I'm sure Hutch is listening. They're all going to be on the live chat anyway, the FRL party chat. But what I think is really important, I know watching a motor race here, is just one thing. Let me just see. Hutch, if you're listening, I mean, don't let this put you off too much, but Liverpool are leading through a fluke Matip goal, apparently. So there you go. That is what's happening there. That is what's happening there. Right. Oh. Okay, so Hutch is just keeping out of the way. That was good driving. I'm telling you guys, we're going to end up in a night race. You can see very visibly that sun is getting very low. The light is definitely dipping, so we're going to go twilight. Definitely going to go twilight. I wonder if it will go into night time. So Drifter there finds himself 8.5 tenths behind Dokuno. I actually think this is going to be a beautiful end to this race, and as you can see, Jamie is still keeping Rob honest there. Rob made that move about a lap and a half ago, but he hasn't really shaken Jamie off the back of him, so you've probably got a situation where Rob's Beamer is just slightly more well behaved, which is allowing him just to keep pace and that gap back to the Lexus of Jamie. So Andy, Stefan, AMS, Shigs, we're on with Hutch, weren't we? Venom is 18th. So, you know, Venom's still running, and that, again, I say it every single time we do a live stream, is so important. Just finish the race. Finish the race. Yeah. That's all that counts. Because it's experience, it's lap time, it's spending time with other drivers, watching their lines, watching their braking points. It's about learning, always. Even the top guys are always going to be watching what the other ones are doing and thinking, can I implement a little bit of that? Or that was interesting. It's just the way it is. So we've only got 20 in. Where's Ben? Hold on a minute. So Ben Gallagher is now out of the server. So Ben, if you've ended up watching, did you disqueue or did you rage quit? Because Ben was actually doing well, wasn't he? He was making his way up through the field. I think he got up to 15th. So we've had a few drop out of the server. Bruges is still in the pit lane. He's probably gone out though, and he's just left his car in there, which is fine. It's totally fine. He hasn't gone out the server. So Drifter and Dokuno is back to the closest battle on track. This is for 8th and 9th as they come through Sheen Curve on the way down to Sterling's. Hard on the brakes, down to second, turn in, clip that curve, slowly squeeze the throttle on, and we're going to run out wide as we're now on our way down towards Clark Curve, under the bridge, board on the left, there's your braking spot, down a couple of gears, then we're going to back off slightly, squeeze the throttle on, take a wide line, and then cut back towards the inside of the track. That's obviously on a downhill camber as well, so it will give you more mechanical grip to get the power down more. You're welcome if you didn't know that. Right, Paddock Hill Bend. Again, these two seem very, very, very evenly matched, which is fabulous to see. We like to see close racing. Michael's still out up top, 18, nearly 19 second lead over Ben, so I'm sure he's quite happy with that performance so far as we have a look at him. 18 minutes to go, faultless drive yet again. Chris said we started with 24. Yeah, we need to have a look, mate. If you've you know, I could probably tell you a couple on what's happened to them, but we do need to have a look at that. So yeah, Ben's 18 seconds down the road, but I mean, I'd say he should be fairly safe, but Marty has cut that gap down. So Marty's now just under 5 seconds behind Ben, with 17 and, well, say 17 and a half minutes left of the race. And we've seen that Marty's been very, very good and very consistent at this track so far this evening. So I'm not putting that past him to maybe catch up. So it's 4 seconds. We'll keep an eye on that delta as we have back on board with Drifter. And they're still together, which is brilliant. They're not leaving each other. Pony is comfortable at the moment in 4th place. I'm sure he would prefer that to be 3rd. As you could see, the gap between Ben and Marty's come down by quarter of a second already in this lap. So if that goes under 3 seconds within the next 2 laps, that's game on. Yeah, that will develop before the end of the race. Jetpack is in 5th so far this evening. Touch wood. That was my table, by the way. Oh, hold on a minute. Faco says, Shorty says, appreciate the kind words, just got the PS5 last week, so plenty more to... Oh, wow. Well, don't bother, Sean. It's okay. You don't need to race with us. I don't know. Do something else. Build a knee. I don't know. But if you've just got the PS5, literally... Actually, I remember that, because Ben was giving you some stick, wasn't he, in the Discord, saying just get on with it, and I think that day you just got the PS5. Yeah, you will find loads of time. The PS5 is obviously a big step up from the PS4 in terms of what you can feel and how that translates on the track. So that I am very much looking forward to, sure. Faco says, hello Tier 1, my Tier 2 race ended before the time. 2 races, 2 incidents during overlapping the car under blue flags. I'm very unlucky this season. Faco, I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. That is not good news, buddy. Maybe it will be worth having a chat with whoever's... Well, if there's instance under blue Faco, you know what to do, mate. You need to put some tickets in. It's as simple as that, so that you allow the stewarding team to actually have a look at what is going on. Are people trying to abide by those blue flag rules that we have in place? And if not, where can we help people improve? So, mate, put the tickets in. You know, no one looks at it and thinks, oh, someone's put a ticket. It's there to help, so do that. But before you do that, make sure you press like. Thanks very much. Yeah, where were we? So TK Drifter. Yeah, I was telling Sean not to bother because it'll be too fast. No, do it, Sean. Do it. You and Ben versus Michael and Traction. Marty and Ams. Pony and Keno. Jetpacker and Drifter. That sounds like a pretty scary 5 teams, doesn't it? Come on, guys. I mean, if that was teams, unbelievable. Right. So we're going to come away from this one now. There, that gap is elongated slightly by 1/10 and a half. So they've both got breathing space. Dokuno can certainly concentrate on what's in front of him a little more. I find you generally don't start getting a bit panicky, and, you know, like shaking and messing things up until you're probably 3/10. It's the fate of my team. It's named Bad Romance. Well, then it's your own fault, isn't it, Faco? I mean, come on, dude. I know you're very, very good with those words, and but Bad Romance, you're asking for trouble. You might as well. I mean, I'm not superstitious in any way, but sometimes you've got to question that. Change the name of the team for the next race and call it no crash racing or no blue flags or something like that, and just for the crack and see what happens. Right, Ben's also in the live chat. Evening, Ben. Got the time wrong, so missed quali. Yep. Met a sideways jag on that one. Unlucky. Tried to continue but no progress at halfway. Interesting. Okay. So, I mean, I thought you actually do really well, Ben. I did, you know, obviously seen that you'd pitted early and thought you were just going for a long strat. Obviously something had happened there. I thought you were just going to crack on. I thought you probably could have got up to about 12. So, unfortunately for you, dude, if you've just called it a day, I mean, that is a bit of a no-no, to be fair, because you've got people queuing up and waiting to race. So, I don't know. I'll see what other people make of that, to be fair. But you might end up with a couple of points, just saying. So, just, well, if that happens, that's why. So Michael's still out in the lead, Ben second, Marty's still in third. So there's your podium as it stands at the moment, just under 13 minutes left of this race. So Pony, where's Pony? So he's coming up to Surtees and Marty's on his way down towards Hawthorne. So again, that looks pretty secure. Jetpacker, he's not challenging. Kagatacos, here we go. So Crazy Kaga in the Ferrari. I don't think he's crazy, I just thought that would sound good. Kaga's had a great drive today, actually. I've got to say that. I'm impressed. I think Kaga's had an absolutely brilliant drive today. He's been consistent. I mean, he's got Traction Dave behind him. The Traction qualified second, yeah. And I haven't seen Kaga in any issues today. Please don't do it now while I'm talking about you, buddy. He's had a very clean race, he's had a very consistent race, and he's in the top 6. I am impressed, and he's challenging Jetpacker, so I am very impressed with that. Dokuno still in 8th place, holding off Drifter, which is no mean feat. Drifter won last week, remember, and he's just monstrously quick, so for Dokuno to still be keeping that gap slightly bigger than what it was before, that again is impressive. Rd2 finds himself in the top 10 now, so good. Jamie's in 11th at the moment. Keno is still in 12th place and still going. Probably not delighted with this race so far today, but it does swing in roundabouts. We know that. Superkart Ray is first. Oh, Superkart Ray. I missed that guy and the fan club. Good. That's good to hear, Paco. Superkart Ray. It's a good guy. You're all good guys, but I like Superkart Ray. It literally looked like when I got to Brands and I met him in 1-1, it literally looked like Superkart Ray had just gone and bought the entire Rossi store, to be fair. I think he still had the tags on the hat and the jacket. I mean, it was just... it was funny. That's what I'm going to say. Kino's 12th, AMS is 13th, so he's fought his way back from 15th to 13th. Remember, just to give you an update on that, AMS was... Jetpack has increased that gap, so we'll go back on for Drifter. That's a close one. Andy's in the pits. Oh, hold on, we need to stop. Andy reverse a bit, Andy. No, Andy's parked up behind the best Ferrari in the world, just can't see the number 101. So Venom is still going in 17th place again. You know what, he's thinking, I'm 17th, that's not amazing, but it is amazing. You're still going, mate. People have bombed out the server, people are in the pits. You're picking up more points, and that is the important thing, and gaining valuable experience. Hutch is probably too busy keeping one eye on the Liverpool match and hoping they're still going to be in with a title. P.S. Man City have already won it, because they ain't going to lose to Norwich, are they, let's be honest, or whoever they're playing. Shigs is 15th, Steph is 14th, and I was saying about AMS, qualified really well, was running in 2nd, 3rd place, pit stops, and then got a speeding stop and go in his haste to get out and chase down Marty, who had a much quicker pit stop. So obviously he was conscious. Oops, at AZ, and there we go. A little bit too much throttle there coming out of Sterling's. Obviously the back end said, well, I'm going to carry on, and the front end said, well, I can't keep up with you, and around she went. So that's probably given him a little bit of damage as well, for good measure. In terms of close battles, it's still this one. It really is. Where's Traction? Traction is 4 seconds behind Kaga. Kaga's now 1.5 behind Jetpacker, so that challenge, if there was going to be a challenge, I feel the time for that has probably gone, as we're now 9 minutes left in the race. So through Shin Curve yet again, Drifter is now really close. So I was saying earlier on about 8-9 tenths isn't, doesn't really get you worried when you're driving. When you're starting to get into the 3-4 tenths and you can see them properly in the mirrors and the radar's coming up all the time, and then your eye, you start looking a lot more often because you're trying to second guess what they're doing. That's probably happening at the moment. What's Paco saying now? 12 minutes to the end. Yeah, okay, 12 minutes for you guys. 8.5 for us. As we come up under the bridge towards Druids yet again, as you can see, the sun is definitely on its way down, and you guys, without even listening to me, can just actually enjoy the beauty of this game in terms of the lighting, the shading effects. I don't think you can beat it anywhere. Obviously on PC, but I mean the game as a whole, not just on PS5. Again, look at that. Look at the sunlight how it's moving across the back window. It's fabulous. I do love this game. I just wish FRL would pay me a lot of money. James, get that new job, right, and just donate 10%. That's all we need. 10% could go into the newly formed COMMS team. It's just me. It's not, obviously there's lots of guys that do comms, but this particular bit is just me. And then I can give up doing my job, and I could then do comms every day of the week, yeah, on all the different formats. How about that? Something to think about. And if you don't watch this stream, you won't know what I've said. So now we're going to test and see if James watches the stream back all the way through. We'll see about that, because I'll expect a message saying, sling you up, mate. Right, Steph's into the pits. Oh no. So Steph pits with 7 minutes to go. That's a shame. Is that a fuel issue? Or is that a I'm really tired and can't do any more issue? Who knows? Well, I'll tell you where there has been an issue, and you can see Jetpack is there. So he's having a bit of fun at the moment, but 3.3 seconds behind is Kaga Tacos, and Kaga only a few laps ago was what? 5 tenths? So he's definitely had an issue somewhere, although he's pulling that gap back quite quickly, but that's allowing traction now. Traction's in place, 6.5 minutes to go. He's 7.5 tenths, excuse me, behind Kaga. And so Kaga was obviously hoping the end of this race would be he, richest comms in the land. No, Chris, I'm not rich, I'm wealthy. Or is the saying the other way around? We'll say it's my way, because I'm doing the talking. But yeah, no, I'm not rich, but I'm very wealthy. Look at what I've got in front of me. All these great people that we have the opportunity to race and converse with. His traction is only half a second. So traction is decided, as he probably should at this stage of the race. It's now or never. Let's put the pressure on. Let's see if we can get a mistake out of Kaga. Now, no disrespect to Kaga Tacos. He can drive, and he is an experienced driver, but he doesn't. He's not normally up at this part of the grid. It's normally fighting within probably 9th, I'd say, to 13th is where he normally sits. He's now in 6th place, so you know he's got a very, very quick driver behind him. He's not like racing against other people, so he's going to have to think about things a bit differently, and he's probably going to end up pushing a little harder than normal. As you can see, traction closes up as you go through Hawthorns, now through Westfield. He's just applying that pressure. Kaga's just got to stay cool. He's got to stay cool, but you know, the Ferrari, no, there you go, so there's wide, that's a mistake, that's that mistake done, don't, it's going to take him out. I knew that was going to happen. So Kaga Tacos, who's, go on Dave, go on Kaga, as they both come back onto the track after having that little love tap there. So I did call that. Dave was pushing Kaga extremely hard as they came through Sheen. Obviously Kaga took a little bit of extra speed through there because he's being pushed so hard. He doesn't want to, you know, and that's what happens. You get into that mindset, you don't want to back off probably like you normally do, because I want to keep this person behind me, and that caused two tyres to go on the grass a little bit further than they should do. We know what the Ferrari's going to do there, and Dave took that opportunity to jump down towards Sterling, but obviously the Ferrari was coming straight back across, so evidently they touched. But all's well that ends well at the moment, because traction is ahead, as he should be, but Kaga is now only a tenth behind him. So I think these last 4 minutes these last 4 minutes are going to be quite entertaining. What do you guys think? I'm sure you all agree. Right, Pilgrim's Drop. We don't know who's carrying what damage from that. You can see that Ferrari Kaga, she is no slouch. Dave's got no answer to that. So Kaga goes absolutely munching past him. No, wow. I mean, the McLaren, she's not slow. Remember, Dave qualified second. He's got to be carrying damage. His windscreen looks a little bit cracked and dirty, I suppose. And Kaga, well, Kaga retakes that lead and has already pulled 6 tenths. So I think if Kaga can just keep himself composed for another 3 or 4 corners, that gap will not be beaten. And obviously Dave did go slamming into the wall there, so that's where he would have picked up his damage. So bing bong, stewards alert, everybody get ready. So our next closest battle, as we have seen for, I'd say, half an hour of this race, Drifter and Dokuno still battling over 8th and 9th place. Again guys, if you haven't ever had the opportunity to experience, find someone who's got this game. I'm going to rephrase that, sorry, I'm going to hit myself after I get off air. Find someone who has this simulator and have a go. It is so hard. It is so hard. You've got to concentrate. It's physical. It's mentally demanding. You can't take your eye off the ball for half a second. Every braking point has to be on point. Traction zones, acceleration zones, the line, the speed you're taking through, everything has to be perfect. And when you've got individuals, we are 58 minutes into a race, who are only split by a couple of attempts and have been together because we've been watching them for a long time. As you can see, Traction's just had an issue there. He's definitely carrying damage. That could provide an opportunity for these two on the last lap. Who knows? But to be together for this long, yeah, it's not like being married. It takes a hell of a lot of work. You have to take your hats off to them. Well done. Well done to you guys. Michael's absolutely just... Well, he's putting those lap times in, isn't he? He's out up head at the moment. He's going to get... Where are we? Down by Sheen. So he's going to get one more lap in. Ben's in second place. He's miles away, but fantastic. Again, very consistent drive from Ben so far. Marty's 3.3 behind. He can see him. He can see him. He's not going to catch him though, unless Ben has some issues with these back markers. You can see they are being blue flagged. Again, I will touch on it. The blue flag rule within FRL is a very simple one. If you're being blue flagged, that means there's a quicker car coming up behind you. Doesn't mean jump off the track and die. Just means there's a quicker car coming up behind you, and then you hold your race in line through the corners. Don't do any silly moves, and that's a perfect example. Held the line through the corner. As soon as he had an opportunity, just pulled off slightly and let him through. So where are we at? Traction. Oh wow, Kagatacos and Traction Dave, they're still at it. Right, Michael, I know you're on your last lap, mate, and that's fantastic, but I have to stay on this for the moment because Traction, Kagatacos, so he's lost that position to him. So Kaga's obviously gone off track somewhere. Remember, we saw earlier on he was actually pulling that gap quite nicely as they come up to Sheen. So this is going to run till the end of the race. And then, look behind, there's only a second behind. Drifter's actually got that move done on Dokuno. We missed that, unfortunately, but it's not as if they haven't both had loads of airtime. So Drifter manages to put himself up into 8th, which is a very good comeback drive. Dokuno's 9th, Rd2 is still 10th, as these two come across for their last lap. Kino's 11th, Ams is in 12th place. So, on board of Michael as we come through Sterling's. So he's got himself one corner to go, and Michael will claim a victory, his first victory of this season. I know it's only race 2, but that is quite ominous that he's got the McLaren working well. So Michael crosses the line. We're going to have a flash of lights, going to have a wiggle. What we're going to have? Probably some donuts somewhere. Congratulations, Michael Races wins round 2 of the Formula Racing League Taco Tuesday Championship Tier 1 on PS5. Ben looks like he's going to easily bring that home in second place. Marty has had a great effort to catch up with him. He's got it down to 2.5 seconds, but we need to move, don't we? Because Traction, those two looking pretty equal at the moment. Wow, so Drifter's got himself past. Wow, Drifter's got past Traction, and Kaga, in his desperation to get a move back on Drifter, has gone wide. Drifter's going to get Traction, no doubt, because we know Traction is running with damage. We have to stay on this at the moment. Ben's finished, well done. Marty's finished on the podium, 3rd place, well done to you. As we come through Sheen, we've got 2 corners left to go. Traction's just going to park it in the middle of the road. Is but he got... he definitely got damage as Drifter just literally cruises by him. Can he get the power on quick enough? He can't. He's not... Wow, so Drifter ends up in 6th place. Ponyfielder finishes 4th. Well done to you, mate. Great run for you there. Jetpacker in 5th. You know what? It's not a bad result. And let's look on the bright side. You didn't get disconnected today. So, he picks up a 5th place. Drifter, great few laps at the end there. Made up 3 places, finishes 6th. Traction 7th. Dokuno, again, a very good drive from you, 8th place. Rob managed to get 9th. Kagatacos ended up down in 10th. after having that wobble at the end. Granted, it's still a top 10 finish, but remember, for most of the second part of this race, he was running 6th, so unlucky. Keno's 11th. It's a half decent finish, mate. You get some good points there. Ams ended up in 12th after having those that stop-go penalty and fought his way back through. GT Jamie, a respectable 13th in a Lexus that he himself admitted he didn't have set up right. Shigs finished in 14th place. Hutch, I don't think Hutch should drive a Jag anymore, but did finish 15th place. Well done, buddy. Venom in 16th. Steph 17th. Andy in 18th. Didn't finish the race. Bruges didn't finish the race. And then there is me. That's all I'm going to say. Wow. Let's have a look at the live chat. Chris says, magnificent race. I agree. Sean says, great coverage. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that, my friend. Plenty more of that to come. And just so we know, news update, Supercar Ray won in Tier 2. Brilliant. Bosh. We'll say congratulations to him in the Discord. Thank you very much to everybody. You know what I do need to do, though? Obviously, just hot lap. It's hot lap time. It's hot lap time. Let's go. No, it's not. Let's not be silly. Right. Thanks to everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. Everyone that has put some comments in the live chat. Again, always do that. It's what makes the show. And everyone that's liked, anyone that has subbed, a big thank you. So that's it for me for this week. Next week, we've obviously got round 3. Let me just let you know where we are, just so that everybody is up to date. Next week, we're at the Nürburgring. Nice. Okay, that will be interesting. I'll see you all later on. Obviously, Slammers is on now, so get involved with that. Another series that we run. Hold on, let me get involved in these two.
Low tire pressure, stay away from curbs.
Sorry, I just had to do it. I mean, look at them sitting there like teammate. Like, get out of here. This is my pit lane. Right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Podcast tomorrow, don't forget that, 10 o'clock. I will be back on Friday for the PC comms on the GT3, so if you want to catch that, by all means join us. That is a whole different kettle of fish in terms of what I can do, and I really enjoy it. So I'll stop rabbiting. I did had to, you're right. I did had to, you're right. Right, guys and girls, comms by Coops out.